The first Colonial Regiment's major initiative system is going public. Stay to the end of the video to learn more. In our previous discussion, we explored some exciting new mech concepts from Morganson Defense, diving into the unique capabilities of the XO-50 Elephant, XO-52 Red Sabbath, and the XO-53 Mantis. We saw how each of these distinct models brought specialized roles to the battlefield, from mobile support to close quarters combat. But what if we could go beyond our predefined mech types? What if the power to customize our war machines, to truly tailor them to the demands of any mission, was in our hands? Today, we're taking a significant leap forward in our narrative. We're no longer shackled to specific mech models. Instead, we're introducing the revolutionary concept of mech modularity, giving you unprecedented control over your loadout. Forget being limited by a mech's inherent design. It's time for you to choose your armaments, adapt to any threat, and dominate the battlefield with unparalleled flexibility. To kick off this new era of strategic warfare, we've prepared a series of powerful armaments that will redefine how you would approach combat. As we progress through this video, we'll break down each of these devastating additions, including the precise and destructive heavy railgun, the scorching heavy laser cannon, versatile machine gun mounts and their formidable heavy machine gun mount counterparts, tactical mine dispensers, and the highly experimental spear missile system. We are closer than ever before to modular mechs. Arrowhead demonstrated their willingness to experiment and allow Helldivers the ability to customize their weaponry, something that was profoundly game-changing, making guns that are otherwise ass without mods top-tier contenders with the best possible weapons prior to the mods being introduced. Firearms like the Liberator Carbine, a gun that releases a beam of lead with terrible recoil control, or the Reprimand, terrible recoil control. Of course, they're only a couple examples of guns redeemed by the update that brought us modification options. My point is, while it isn't probably as simple as the gun modification treatments that we did receive, this update has set a precedent for Helldivers going forward, something I have no doubt Arrowhead already has kicking around one of their boardrooms, likely smudged onto a whiteboard in black marker, hopefully not collecting too much dust. That being said, I'd like to get back on topic. The railgun is my favorite stratagem weapon in Helldivers, and that is hardly a secret. Having dabbled in fan modifications to this weapon previously, specifically my favorite idea ever, the revolving railgun, it can only remain in prototype stage for so long before it becomes the manufacturing standard, and over a year into the Galactic War, this really should be the case. So if not a new handheld railgun, why not a mech-mounted heavy railgun? All the same love and features of the handheld model, but bigger, badder, and deadlier, coming with an integrated large-capacity magazine loaded with at least 30 tungsten rounds. You don't mount this onto a mech without the expectation that it should be able to endure through the war zone in the hands of a pilot that values ammo conservation. Provided that this railgun is much larger, it's after all called the heavy railgun, the tungsten rounds will be too. The charge time, in my opinion, should be longer, perhaps 10 seconds to full charge, without the option of switching between unsafe and safe mode. I cannot imagine that the heavy railgun, much more the mech, are cheap devices to replace. I am a self-professed railgun master, and I can appreciate a railgun without strings, but realistically, the risk isn't worth it. Okay, so moving from the railgun to the heavy laser cannon, I got a lot of feedback from my community in the comments of my last mech video regarding the abysmal lack of attention to mech-mounted laser equipment. Now, not to reinvent the wheel, we're just gonna again increase the size of our typical laser cannon with design liberties on my own part. I get it. You want a rapid-fire pulse laser weapon like the Gatling laser from the Fallout franchise or a scaled-up sickle, but that doesn't quite get my attention as much as a straight beam of hot piss. I imagine this idea covers the broad band of laser weapons on its own. Laser is laser after all. Okay, so being that it is larger, the laser should be largely more effective to the poor soul on the other end. 3 seconds of direct contact on the faceplate of a Hulk from a standard laser cannon will pull it down. By that standard, it should be pretty self-explanatory to the effect a laser cannon the size of a grown man should have. cutting swaths through the battlefield. But unfortunately, size isn't all it's chopped up to be. The larger the battery bank, the larger the cooldown time. So, in the vein of modular mechs, make sure you bring a weapon that complements the heavy laser cannon. Use them interchangeably because of how, at least to me, superficially overpowered they'll be. To me, it's pretty obvious why Arrowhead hasn't introduced laser weapons to the mech yet, and that is because it would legitimately increase the longevity that one can be fielded. Much like a phone company, Arrowhead runs headfirst into the battlefield with planned obsolescence. So, laser goes laser, who'd have guessed? Let's move on. Returning to the basics, in fact, super basics, mech mounted machine guns and heavy machine guns, like the ones you can already bring on Hell Drops with you. Yeah, we already got a minigun, but if the railgun didn't make my stance on ammo conservation clear, I'm a strong supporter of conserving ammo. The minigun does anything but conserve ammo, something the machine gun counterparts don't quite struggle with as much. You load 1,000 rounds per arm, and we'll be firing for days. Now, we won't be putting anything large down with the machine gun, but the mech is hardly the tool to be used against large units, instead being a clear support vehicle. Opposite to be said for the heavy machine gun. Pretty much ripped off a stationary heavy machine gun emplacement and installed on a mech, this would do as much as you would have already done on the stationary. Cut the ammo by 75% from 1,000 to 750, and you got yourself a bargain. Heavy pen, you'll be putting down all but the Bile Titan with ease, an amazing alternative that would complement whatever other weapon you bring attached to your mech. I'd love to hit the battlefield with a machine gun mount and the heavy railgun, one to make the Bile Titan's skulls past tense and another for clearing whatever was at its feet. It feels like we are moving through these fast, but I've come to the conclusion that you already know how these previously listed handheld equivalents work, unless you are an incoming Xbox diver, in which case, enlist in the 1st Colonial Regiment. We find our origins back on Halo as late as January 2024. Trust me when I say solo queuing on Helldivers is not for the faint of heart. Skip the headaches and take your place alongside Helldivers' premier diving organization. Side tangent over. Let's move on to something that none of you have gotten the pleasure of experiencing in Helldivers: strategically laying mines. In Helldivers, mines are ordered via Hellpods and are scattered across a bewilderingly large area. Awesome for defense missions like high-value asset missions, but otherwise, truly some of the most friendly fire-prone tools commonly employed. I like the idea of bringing a mech that can be used solely as a tool that can aid in the defense of an objective, especially in urban environments where there are areas that my Hellpod cannot reliably reach. I am using anti-tank mines for the example of this model, but I figure any mine would work. Put mines around corners, lure enemies into cramped spaces to maximize explosive effect. I cannot imagine that this would be the most popular weapon to start, but I'm confident in time this tool would become largely popular with us that can think beyond the tips of our nose. Lastly, I want to talk about Helldivers' most commonly broken weapon, the spear. I've been playing since day one, and this weapon has seen a lot of bullshit. From it being so good that they had to nerf it, to it being too bad that they had to buff it, to the lock-on not even working, and even now there are times where it just doesn't lock on. But in the right hands with the right vibes, this weapon is a reaper of death, cleaning ships, factory striders, Bile Titans, tanks, even command bunkers. One of Helldivers' most notoriously difficult mission sites to overcome aren't even remotely safe. No heavy unit is safe from the Kirkland brand Javelin. Now, attach this weapon to a mech without even upscaling it or needlessly increasing the size of the ammunition, and you got yourself a massive battlefield disruptor. There is no reason the mech should be limited to only 4. I could totally see the mech storing upwards of 12 to 15 spearheads. In my last video, which you should totally watch, I created a concept for a mortar mech called the Elephant. Forget that. Give me the Spear Elephant mech. That's peak support right there. Pair it with any of the previously listed weapons from this video or my last one, and you got yourself perhaps one of the most overpowered devices in Helldivers, which is why it will never exist in the first place. What's up, Helldivers? Like and subscribe if you support what this video tried to achieve. I have some important news for this upcoming 26th. The 1st Colonial Regiment's major initiative system is going public. In cooperation with our partners throughout the organized Helldivers community, in particular the Unified Helldivers Assembly. A community for clans by clans. I will have a whole video for this soon, so stay tuned, but I guarantee you are not going to want to miss out. Our Super Earth-oriented narrative campaign was an amazing success, drawing in thousands of Helldivers. There is no better time to get involved with the organized Helldiving community, whether that is through the 1st Colonial Regiment or the Unified Helldivers Assembly. In any case, you'll find a link to both in the description below. I'm going on vacation later this month, so I have been grinding out videos, not necessarily to keep you all tuned in. This channel has never really had a consistent schedule, but because there is just so much going on in general, and I'm trying to keep up with it. Your continued support has been an amazing motivator behind what I do, and that is especially true of our current and previously enlisted Colonials. Without you and your support, this opportunity that we've been presented to help improve Helldivers' beautiful organized community would never have been made available. The best things in life are those that help others. Helldivers is something truly amazing, and having the opportunity, no, the chance to truly improve its organized community is perhaps one of the most meaningful opportunities that I have ever been presented. Anyway, seriously, support the 1st Colonial Regiment and the associate clans of the Unified Helldivers Assembly. This 26th isn't just any normal day, but the beginning of the end of gaming's Berlin Wall, bringing together brothers and sisters who should have never been separated to begin with. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in Hell.
I won't forget you, buddy.